What is going on, guys? Welcome to a long-awaited F1 2016 career mode. We are just getting things underway by selecting our helmet, changing some colours, you know, the superficial things that really do matter in an F1 career. That I can't even see my helmet in-game, but still, it's Welsh colours. We've decided to go with a Welsh nationality, seeing as how I was born there. Makes sense, I think. I didn't want to go with a British nationality, because I'm not. The name, interesting one. For those of you who follow the streams, we have a character called Trevor George, who plays up front for us. This is our brother, Keith George, number 37, of course. The abbreviated name, I was going to go with TVM, but I just think it makes more sense just to put George or GRG. So there he is. Keith George is going to start his F1 career, and all that's left for us to do now is to choose the team that we're going to be racing with. And I've decided to go with Renault because they are one of the lesser sides, shall we say. So obviously they're not really going to be expected to do much, which is pretty much where I am with this. We've gone race distance 25%. I go off the assists, but I do go back on it for you to have a look at. The difficulty is going to be medium. I'm not going to put on easy for obvious reasons, but I'm not going to put it any higher than that because I am an absolute noob when it comes to F1. I don't know anything whatsoever. So if you come here expecting me to be telling you how to set up your car and giving you some expert, top-notch quality commentary, you've come to the wrong place. So you've got these team objectives within practice and qualifying. So practice basically. So you get resource points for completing certain objectives, which means you can upgrade things like engine, brakes, etc. So obviously we're going to be doing things like that. We're not going to focus on that too much for the time being, and this is obviously the page where you can actually upgrade certain things. So obviously I did upgrade my engine because I got the pre-order bonus of 450 resource points, even though I didn't pre-order it. Shout out, by the way, to Codemasters for sending me the key for this game for free. I'm not going to complain about that at all. So yeah, we upgraded our engine very early on. So I was under recommendation by someone to actually do that because I don't really know what I was meant to upgrade first. So as you can see, we go into our first practice here in Australia, and things don't really start off very well. I'm not quite sure whether this is the camera angle that a lot of people use for career mode, but this is the one I feel comfortable using. Bit of a rage quit there in the second day of practice. I was not feeling it. I think it was the first day of practice, actually. I think I got a little bit better, though. I've been improving a lot. I've been playing this game like 10 hours since it's been released. I mean, I got it a day early, but that's not the point. I'm all over the road there, not doing very well at all, trying to maintain the car in a steady manner, but it's not really working out. So we move over to, I think it's practice. That's the end of practice day 2, and I'm finishing bottom there in 22nd. My teammate Jolyon Palmer finishing in 18th. Obviously it's up to me pretty much to beat Jolyon Palmer. That's where my team expect me to be, competing with him. I didn't really work out DRS at this point either. If you've got no idea as well, like me, you won't know what DRS actually is, and you won't understand what the hell is going on right now, and that's fair enough. I have a racing line on purely because I am shit. There's no brake assist or anything like that because that would be pointless. There's no flashbacks. I can't rewind or anything. And this is where she tells me about my rival.
Looks like you've got a bit of rivalry going on out there. This is good. Gets people talking about you. Just make sure you outperform them, okay?
So there he is, my rival, Jolyon Palmer. We're going to have to try and take him on, like I said earlier. And here we go into qualifying. Now, qualifying in Australia, typically, it would be pissing down. It's the middle of the summer over there, I would imagine, and it's still raining because they knew I was coming. So there we go. I have to put the wets on. And it's the first time me driving in the rain. Just a quick note that the game settings, by the way, it's playing on PC. Game settings are on medium to low, and it still looks absolutely fantastic. Things are on medium to low because my graphics card isn't the best, especially when recording, so I had to lower it down. But we do quite well in qualifying, to be fair. We're down on our, or rather up, I should say, on our sector times, going through sector 1 and 2. I'm into the final corner of, or the second to final corner I should say, of the Australian qualifying, and I do struggle to get around that corner more often than not. I've learned how to do it now, which doesn't really help me back then, because obviously we go over the line and we manage to set a time of 1:52, which was good enough for 16th, and only because the cars beneath us failed to mark up a time. So we're going into the Australian Grand Prix 16th on the grid.
With that then, let's run through the grid order. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he starts from pole position. And Kimi Raikkonen completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Bottas, Vettel, Marcus Ericsson, and Hamilton, Sainz, Kvyat, Button, and Nico Hülkenberg, Massa, Grosjean, Jolyon Palmer, and Gutierrez, Haryanto, and Renault, Daniel Ricciardo, and Nico Rosberg, Perez, and Nasser, Fernando Alonso, and Pascal Wehrlein completes the grid.
You're not going to get any massive, dramatic, here we go kind of thing from me. It was a manual start. I wasn't quite sure how to do it. It was a very bad start from me. Car's already overlapping me on the left there, and again, you're not going to get any huge commentary from what I'm about to say because I'm not really sure of how to commentate an F1 video. Pretty sure I'm going to get better though. See Palmer just in front of me there with Ricciardo. I need to try and remember that guy's name. I keep calling him Ricciardo. His name is Ricciardo. So Ricciardo ahead of me then, and then Palmer, my teammate, ahead of him as we go into the second corner of the Australian Grand Prix. As I said, the racing line is there with no brake assist, so obviously I'm all over the road at the moment, and I get spun from behind from what can only be a drunk driver. Rosberg, one of the ones that didn't post a time. Alonso closely follows him. As we move further on into the race here, we are on lap 2. We have 25% on these laps. I want to ask you a question, whether you'd be happy for me to turn it down to 5 laps a race. A, it would be easier for me to record it, and B, my eyes won't bleed when playing this game, because I love doing it, and I'm more than happy to do 15-20 laps a race. And as I smash Alonso in the back and lose part of my wing on the left hand side there, just to cause lots of problems, why not indeed. And like I said, more than happy as I'm smashing into Ricciardo again here. I will get better, I promise. I've lost 100% of my wing as I come into the pits for the first time. Apparently too quick, so I may need to adjust that slightly. But we come out of the pits and we try and recover up some places here. Take an overpass there on Alonso up into 19th, trying to find the next person, which is Grosjean going forward. I'm probably butchering that guy's name, but who cares? We're trying to catch that guy up into 18th. It was going reasonably well for me, to be fair. As we go around these corners, I was learning how to how to ease on and off the brake. I'm using an Xbox 360 controller, by the way, so it's not like pedals or anything. We're up into 16th here, doing reasonably good work, trying to catch my teammate Palmer, who's up in there in 14th. This is the first time I've played an F1 game, by the way, since 2010. So to be fair, I think I'm doing reasonably well at this point, trying to keep pace with Palmer, my teammate, in 14th. As we go around yet another long corner, looking to find some speed maybe in his slipstream, but it was really hard going for me at this point because we're on lap 8. And it was boiling in the room that I was recording in. I was sweating, my hands were slipping off the controller. Things were not going well for me at all. It was inevitable at one point that I would make a mistake. Palmer actually locks the brakes there while trying to brake for that corner. I managed to undertake him, which was really nice. And then I look forward then to maybe going after Ericsson. There's a big gap between myself and Ericsson. It's a good 10 or maybe 7-second gap at that point, which obviously wasn't good for me, and I was trying to chase. I go off onto the gravel, struggling to keep control of the car then, and obviously gravel are on the tyres. I've got Palmer directly behind me. I've got another corner here that I have to brake for, and I've gone wide again, trying to keep the car on the track. Palmer, teammate, goes around me, and then again I'm trying to play catch up here. And this is the point of F1 where I struggle massively, because I'm trying to overcompensate for things. That's the second to last corner where I lose 2 places, maybe even 3 places here. I'm trying to battle off the I can't even read that guy's name, Haryanto, if that's how you say his name. He's trying to, oh no, it wasn't even him, was it? It was Alonso, or maybe even Perez from the back, trying to challenge me for 15th place. And again, we have a bit of an understeer there, and we overshoot the corner, and Alonso goes shooting past us, and we've got a close competitor right behind us. You can see by the arrow just above my helmet there. And again, I'm overshooting these corners, trying to overcompensate, trying to speed up and trying to chase rather than just trying to use the slipstream of the people in front of me and just race the race sensibly. I'm going too quick through the corners, trying to chase the leaders, and that's the problem I have with this game, is the fact that I just don't race my own race. You know, I'm going after it, I'm chasing, and I don't just do what I would do in qualifying or practice. I have Nasser, who's just gone above me now, or in front of me I should say, and again, I try and turn on the afterburners. I try and go after him. I've got Nasser Gutierrez around my outside, who clips my rear right tyre and sends me flying to the point where I've got not irreparable damage, but damage to the point where I have to go into the pits. We've got 5 laps from the end as I'm overtaken by 3 cars, and I move down into 21st. Then I smash what's remaining of my wing away back on the back of Perez. And then we have Gutierrez in front of me, along with the German that I can't pronounce the name of. My fault here. I smash into the back of Gutierrez. I'm getting annoyed, very much so, at the racing field. Gutierrez goes into the pit, somewhere I really should have gone, but I decide that no wing, a damaged rear is perfectly fine to race with, and I learn the hard way that you just cannot do that. And I go right off into the gravel, nearly hit the barrier, and Rosberg goes beyond me. Gutierrez is retired, I think, at this stage. No, I don't think he has retired. I think he's just really far down on the field because I forced him into the pits. Going into lap 11. I think I'm actually being caught up now by Gutierrez as well as I go into the pits at 100 miles an hour, because I don't know that you have to actually slow down to go into the pits. I haven't watched F1 for about 6 or 7 years, by the way, so I'm so rusty. I know you've always had to slow down going into the pits, but that's not the point. We actually finish our first race of the season in last place, but I just want to point out, I finished the race. Okay, I just want to point that out there. Hamilton there, obviously happy that he's managed to pick up a victory. This game favours Hamilton so much. He wins every single race. Obviously, Renault are not expected to do anything really championship-wise. We're not really expected to finish in the points or do anything. Look at the look that he gives him. Look at that. He looks good kill. As you can see there, we did finish last place confirmation. We were a lap behind the German Pascal in 20th. Gutierrez also finished a lap down. We were 2 seconds behind him. But that's pretty much how things stand going into the next race. I think Bahrain would be the next race. We are on the left-hand side there. We're obviously competing against our teammate, as I said many a time there, Jolyon Palmer. We've gone ahead of him in points only because we did faster sector times. I did a fastest lap time through there as well over my teammate. So going into the next race, I've actually got an extra 7 hours of experience on me before we go into the next race. So you won't see as an abysmal performance as you just